What up, world? Established Rich coming right back at you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's not waste time. Let's not sugarcoat it. Let's not dance around the truth. Sean Diddy Combs just escaped the federal system. Not entirely, but enough. This man was facing life in prison, literally. Trafficking, racketeering, criminal enterprise allegations. The government tried to paint him as a mafia boss. They said he wasn't just throwing parties, he was running a dark operation out of those mansions, out of those yachts, and out of those penthouses. But after 8 weeks, the jury said no. Not guilty on sex trafficking, not guilty on racketeering. And if you know law, if you know the history, you know what this means. This was a near impossible escape. But he didn't walk away entirely clean. The jury gave him a guilty verdict on the Mann Act, which means you're transporting women across state lines for sexual purposes. But let me say this right here. The Mann Act is a legal landmine, a trapdoor built in 1910 that's been tracking down black icons for over 5 decades. Jack Johnson, Chuck Berry, and even Jimi Hendrix all have had a run-in with the Mann Act. The way it's written, if a man pays for a flight and that woman engages in sex with him, even consensually, and there's any exchange of money, favors, or opportunities, boom, you guilty. It doesn't have to be pimping. It doesn't have to be coercion. Just the appearance that sex and travel were connected. That's all it takes. So let's not pretend this conviction means they got him. No, they wanted his legacy. They wanted to destroy him completely. Instead, Diddy gonna come out that courtroom looking like a man who just dodged a missile. Head in his hands, on his knees, family clapping, lawyers hugging. This was a victory, not total, but strategic. Because now, the real games begin. Now that the verdict is in, now that he's beat the most serious charges, you gotta ask yourself one question. What comes next for Sean Combs? Is he done? Is he finished? Or is this just the beginning of a new, more calculated, more dangerous version of a man who spent 3 decades mastering power, influence, and retribution? See, this is what people got it twisted. They expect Diddy to come home and start airing out his enemies on IG Live. They think he's gonna do a drink champs or do a Clubhouse interview and start calling people out. But nah, that's not how real power works. Diddy is not gonna snap, he's gonna strategize. He's gonna move like a man who knows the streets but sits at the table with lawyers, bankers, and owners. And the real payback, it won't be with fists. It'll be with funds.
Now let me break it down for the people in the back.
Diddy ain't gonna fight back with violence. He gonna fight back with purchases. The catalog wars, you best believe he's coming for them. The YouTube media personalities who made a name off Diddy, he'll own the company that pays their AdSense checks. The former artists who defected and became his enemies, he might just own the rights to the song that put you on. We talking legal vengeance, corporate vengeance, slick, silent, and deadly. People think retaliation looks like a drive-by. No, retaliation in 2025 looks like congrats on selling your company to me. He's gonna buy you out. He gonna shut you down or put you in a position where you gotta work for him indirectly. See, revenge for a street dude looks like blood. Revenge for a billionaire looks like a quiet signature and a smile in the courtroom. And here's the craziest part. It'll be totally legal. So to all the people who think they got away clean, you might want to start checking the paperwork on who owns your name, your publishing, your building mortgage. Because Sean Combs got time. And now he got motivation. He's not trying to reclaim his legacy through interviews. He gonna rebuild it brick by owning the very people who tried to erase him.
Bet on it.
Now let's talk about this law, this legal linchpin, this federal sledgehammer that took down Diddy on 2 counts while letting him walk on the worst charges. The Mann Act. You may not know the name, but trust me, it knows you. See, the Mann Act ain't some brand new thing. This ain't a law built for Diddy. This is a law used for centuries to target powerful black men. From Jack Johnson to Chuck Berry to countless others. And I'm not saying Diddy didn't do anything wrong. What I'm saying is the Mann Act is a trap with teeth. It's written in a way that you don't have to force anybody to do anything. You don't need violence. You don't need threats. All you need is a ticket, a flight, and an intention. Let me say that again. If you're involved in transporting a person across state lines for the purpose of sex, even if it's consensual, you are now subject to federal prosecution under the Mann Act. And if you rich, black, and famous, they gonna come get you with it. It happened to Jack Johnson, the first black heavyweight champion of the world. The man had a white girlfriend in 1913. He bought her a train ticket, and that was it. That was enough to convict him. And now Diddy, not guilty of sex trafficking, not guilty of racketeering, but they got him on transportation to engage in prostitution. 2 counts. And you know what that means? 20 years max. It don't matter if the women were legal. It don't matter if they wanted to be there. If you called them, if you booked the ticket, if sex happened, then you're guilty. So what we got is a 100-year-old law, still flexing its power, still damaging legacies, still aimed at black men who made it out of the trap only to get trapped up in court. And Diddy, as rich as he is, as connected as he is, you cannot get around the verbiage of the Mann Act. That's why he's still facing prison. Not because he trafficked anybody, but because he booked a flight. Let me make this plain. Sean Diddy Combs is gonna walk out of that courtroom with the most powerful thing you can have in America. Reasonable doubt. And while he wasn't found guilty on every count, make no mistake, it still was a win for him. First things first, the civil cases. They just took a hit. And why? Because the most serious accusations, sex trafficking and racketeering, the jury said we don't believe it. Now, civil courts have a lower bar of proof, but don't act like a federal criminal verdict doesn't hold weight. Everybody who's suing him gonna have to rearrange their game plan because their strongest arguments just got thrown out in a court of law. Second, the industry just got put on notice. Not by the feds, by Diddy himself. See, most people think retaliation looks like street stuff. Violent threats, payback and blood. But nah, Diddy ain't moving like that. Not no more. His weapon ain't a gun. It's his checkbook. You want to slander him? Okay. You want to make hour-long YouTube videos accusing him of being a monster? Okay. Here's what Diddy is going to do. And I need y'all to listen to me close. He going to buy your catalog. He going to buy your building. He going to buy your mama house and then sell it. He going to play Monopoly with your real life. And you going to wake up one day and realize Diddy own you. Legally, cleanly, and permanently. That's the new revenge. You don't need to hurt nobody when you can own everything they love. And you best believe he's been taking notes. Every outlet that lied on him. Every commentator that went too far. Every rapper that took a cheap shot. Diddy ain't gonna forget. He just gonna file it under accounts receivable. And before I go out to the young artists, to the older generation, the verdict means something else too. It means we entering a new era. An era where public opinion can get you locked up before a judge even sees you. An era where old laws like the Mann Act can be dusted off and take you down. An era where if you ain't got your business tight, your lawyers tight, you might be next. And I'm gonna end it like this. When the smoke clears, when the jury goes home, when the blogs move on to the next drama, what's left? A man, a name, a legacy. Sean Combs ain't just a rapper. He ain't just a producer. He's a symbol of black excellence and black controversy. A symbol of what it means to climb from the bottom and stay at the top even when they try to bury you. But here's the truth. The verdict didn't make him innocent. The verdict didn't make him guilty. It made him human. Complex, flawed, viciously successful, and deeply protected. The real question ain't what happens to Diddy, it's what happens to us. Do we learn from this? Do we see how power corrupts, how fame distorts, how money protects and destroys at the same time? Do we start to rethink who we worship? Because Sean Combs ain't done, not by a long shot. He gonna fight every civil suit, he gonna rebrand, rearrange, reposition, and eventually reemerge. But trust me, he will never be the same. Like, comment, subscribe, establish rich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.